I was making a video about the anniversary of the Rwandan genocide, I got a message in my inbox. Um, that happens quite frequently because I make a lot of videos. You've probably noticed if you regularly subscribe. And occasionally, very occasionally, I'll reply to comments if I think that I need to confront someone with their absolute stupidity. At other times I don't bother. Sometimes I'll reply if it's a comment sort of commending myself out of politeness. But this particular comment was about a video I made 2 years ago on the Scottish chef Gordon Ramsay. And it's not the only comment of its kind, but it's one of the most comical so far. Basically, to give you the context, I had made a video about my thoughts on the Scottish chef Gordon Ramsay, about how I have contempt for the sort of approach that he takes, which is very aggressive, very in your face, and basically, as far as I'm concerned, bullying. Now, subsequently, I've had a lot of people come onto the video and try to make excuses for Gordon Ramsay, and mostly it's been civil, but sometimes it's been personal attacks against myself, and I don't care. I really don't care, but I want to highlight some of the reasons why, to remind people why I made the video. Firstly, there's a guy called Raseh, that was the user that's just attacked me. So Raseh, this is partly a direct message to you. He accused me of being obsessed by Gordon Ramsay. Now, I've so far made about 512 videos. One of them so far has been about Gordon Ramsay. It happens to be among my more viewed videos. That's not something that I can control. If people are interested, they're interested. But I've made one video about Gordon Ramsay among 512 videos. I would hardly call that obsession. If I was obsessed, I would be speaking about him every single day. As it happens, I spend little time thinking about him. I just happened to make that video at a time when I was. And seeing this comment just reminded me of it. But it isn't just about Gordon Ramsay, it's about wider issues here. Another comment, not from Raseh, but another person asked me, am I feminized? So the principle here is that because I'm standing up for my values and saying that I think this is wrong, the sort of attitude he takes, I must be effeminate. Let me tell you something. I go to a boxing gym regularly. I am not scared of any man. I'm someone who stands up for my values. I don't know what exactly being feminine is meant to be, if that's traditional feminine traits or whatever, but basically that is a card's way out of a debate, to stoop to those sort of personality attacks. You know, it just proves that they cannot actually come up with a valid argument, so they resort to those sort of things like, I've had other people call me a faggot and so on. I'm not. I actually happen to like women. It's beside the point, but it's just a card's way out of a debate. If you cannot handle adult debate without resorting to those sort of personal attacks, then you're an idiot. In boxing terms, actually, we call it trash talk. I have a lot more respect for fighters who don't resort to trash talk, because trash talk shows that they're desperate. It shows that they're trying to get under the other guy's skin. Sometimes it's sincere, they really don't like the other guy and they're doing it to try and get under his skin, and sometimes it's just for attention. But either way, it's a bit pathetic. I have a lot more respect for fighters who are sportsmen-like. Guys like Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko, who don't have to use those trashy techniques. So anyway, what these people are saying, I don't know Gordon Ramsay personally. He does it for ratings. They're coming out with all sorts of excuses. He's like, one guy said, oh, do you really think he does that in front of his kids? Well, that really isn't the point, is it? The point here is that you have someone who is a public figure who is exerting a certain image. Now, I don't actually believe that it is staged. I believe he really does get pissed off with his apprentices, and they say, oh, you're only basing it on Hell's Kitchen and I think it's called TV Nightmares, or I forget the exact name, but I haven't seen him use any other style, so what else am I supposed to be basing it on? If you're a public figure and you exert a certain personality, then you can't turn round and complain about getting criticised for that personality. I made a video yesterday talking about the tabloid press and how they often attack celebrities. The caveat to that is, I also would argue celebrities also have responsibility. I never said that they didn't. And this is a classic example. So, if Ramsay wants to act like a thug, then as far as I'm concerned, that's how he's going to be portrayed. Now, people say I don't know him personally. That's true. I don't know the man personally. I'm sure he has some positive traits as well. But the fact of the matter is, what the message he is sending out is basically, in order to be successful, you have to be a prick. You have to belittle people, not in a way that would be constructive, not in a way that might help them. This isn't constructive criticism. It's just being a bully. And what he's sort of sending out the message is that to be successful, you need to be a bully. Now, people say, oh well, the apprentices, they're not forced to go on. But I would argue this goes beyond that. It is about sending out a message that bullying is okay. That isn't a feminine position. It's a position of values. It's a position of being a human being and thinking, don't be a fucking prick. Which Ramsay very clearly is. I don't care what he does in terms of charity football and so on. The point is, he just belittles people not in a position to defend themselves. If those apprentices turn round and stand up for themselves, they'll be fired. And he knows that. Bullies are cowards. And they pick on people not in a position to defend themselves. Now, I really have no time for this man. I don't obsess over him. I've got too much in my mind to think all the time about someone like Gordon Ramsay. But the fact is that he does get quite a lot of support. Therefore, I believe it's important that someone balances that out. And judging by the supportive comments on that video, there's other people who agree with me. So if you're one of those people saying, oh, I'm an idiot, I don't know what I'm talking about, etc., I would say two things. Firstly, okay, if you think I'm an idiot, why are you even bothering commenting on my video? If you're a Ramsay fanboy, if you want to kiss his ass, then why don't you go to one of his videos? Clearly you feel a need to defend him. Because, oh, I'm such a big threat. Well, that's actually, thanks for the compliment. You're saying I'm obviously important enough for you to comment on. So you see me as a threat to Ramsay. Whatever. You know, are you Gordon Ramsay's lawyers? You want to libel me? It's pathetic. I mean, if these guys really like Ramsay so much, then why don't they sue me for defamation? It's a pathetic, sycophantic sort of attitude. And that is part of the problem. When there's this sort of personality cult that develops around certain TV personalities. The fans of Jeremy Kyle come out with similar things, like, oh well, people volunteer to go on, and they think they're being clever, but actually they're just profoundly ignorant, because they're not seeing the context of what I was talking about, which is that it is about putting out a certain perception, i.e., if you yell on people's faces, if you push them around, if you act like a complete prick, then you're going to do well. Now, I'm not disputing. This is the point. These guys think that I'm ignoring the fact he's a successful chef. I know he's a successful chef. And I'm sure his food tastes wonderful. My response to that, so what? Why does that mean that he's automatically above criticism? The idea that someone is successful at something doesn't mean that they're above criticism. I would say the same of any actor. Just because they're a good actor doesn't mean that they are a nice person. Doesn't mean that they are... you can't scrutinize them in other ways. You know, success is something that is... I think it's partly because as human beings we're obsessed by success. And therefore, if someone's successful, oh well, they must be a good person. Well, that's just incredibly naive thinking. Now, Ramsay apologists might say, yeah, sure, he's not a very nice guy, but respect the fact he's a good chef. I don't respect it very much, because I don't think it is necessary to use the approach he does. I can name plenty of other chefs who don't use the same sort of tactics. Look at Nigella Lawson. Look at Jamie Oliver. Now, to the best of my knowledge, they don't yell in the faces of apprentices. They don't say things like, oh, young man, when I was your age, I was 10 times better than you. You're nothing, you're nobody, you're a loser. The bottom line is Ramsay is a bully. And as far as I'm concerned, if you make excuses for him, then you're nothing but a fucking bully yourself. And I'd happily say that to your face. You think I lose sleep over guys like you? What have you done with your life? No, you're attacking me. I don't claim to be a massive success at everything. Of course not. I've got flaws like anyone else. But at least I'm not a bully. And for the record, I've done plenty of things with my life that I'm proud of. So take my word for it. You're bullshit. Your juvenile attacks against me do not make me lose sleep. I was attacking Ramsay not for fun. I was attacking him because I feel it has to be a balance out. Someone has to speak out. Because he thinks that his fame and his money enables him to go on like that, and I just think it's bullshit. I think someone needs to call him out. And I've got respect for anyone that stands up to Gordon Ramsay and guys like him. And I think the table is starting to turn. People are starting now to see what a complete prick he is, and they're starting to see that just because he happens to have a talent in cooking doesn't mean he should have this sycophantic sort of praise. So fuck him. Let him sue me. If Gordon Ramsay takes issues with the things I'm saying, let him sue me for defamation. Because his shows speak volumes. They're modelled that way. And you know, someone said, oh, well, it's TV, it sells. Now, to me, that just shows what a small brain that person obviously has. Public hangings once sold as a form of public entertainment. Just because something's popular doesn't mean it's right. That is a stupid way of thinking, and it just shows the incredibly tiny mindset of these people. I mean, really, what? And I really do believe this principle that people who defend bullies are fucking bullies. Go and fuck yourselves, really. If I sound irritated, I'm actually more amused that they think they can get under my skin, because their argument just falls flat when they resort to those sort of personal attacks. So I made that video to speak out against the wider issues of bullying. It's not just about Ramsay. He was in the title of the video, but it was about wider issues as well. I would say the same for any celebrity out there who behaves in that sort of way, or any public figure, for that matter. Bullying is something that impacts thousands of people, and speaking out against it is nothing to do with being feminized. I'll hold my own against any man. You think you can walk over me, I'll fuck you up. I don't take shit from anyone who thinks that they can walk over me. I don't put on pretense. I don't say I can do things that I won't do, but I guarantee you one thing. I don't shrink into a corner when I'm being attacked. So if that's what you mean by being feminized, sorry to disappoint you. That's all I need to say.